Conditional compilation. What if you want to skip some part? You have put some part and you want to skip that part. For that you might have learned about if-else construct. So this can be used like if def and if. This is the general form. Say you are trying to see the macro. If this is defined, then you will execute these 3 lines, otherwise not. This is the scenario. So if this macro name is defined, you have defined it somewhere, this block of code will work, otherwise it will not be worked. So where this if diff is useful, you want to comment out certain lines. For that you can use, because you have not defined that macro, and when you have not defined that, if defined for that macro will not execute. So you don't want to delete it, those lines, but you want to comment out. So rather than putting all the nested ones, have this nested comments, using this nested comment, this is the best idea. This is a solution which I wanted to convey. First is, if defined OK, 1, 2, 3, 4 line will be executed, otherwise you will end up here. Just imagine a scenario where OK is not even being defined here. There is no OK. So when there is no OK, we have not defined this macro, these lines will never execute. And in some other point, after some days or week, you decide to run these lines, you just define this OK, or you just take off these lines or remove these lines. So these line will be run. So this is how if defined and end defined will work. There is one more sophisticated use of if def that will make your program portable, because your program is maybe going to be executed on Mac, Linux, various operating systems, or say some specific machine. So you can just put if defined Intel, you write this code for Intel PC, otherwise you write this code for PC. So this will make, if you have defined this Intel, this macro, it will run this, otherwise it will run Motorola PC. So this code will cater for Intel PC also and Motorola PC. I hope you got the idea. This will make your program portable, because now even if you use an Intel PC for your program or your Motorola PC, it is going to work. I hope you got the idea. There is one more thing which is called if not defined. This is simply the opposite of if defined. If and defined means if not defined. So if not defined this Intel, this code will be these line of code or whatever you have written here will be executed, otherwise this will be executed. So this is simply the opposite of if defined. Suppose you have a function myFunction which is defined in myfile.h, which is included in myfile1.h. Now if your program file, or in your program file, if you include this myfile.h and myfile1.h, you have this function myFunction defined here also and here also. So the compiler will put an error, or it will flash an error that you have multiply defined myFunction, because this same file myfile.h gets included twice. How to get rid of this, or how to avoid this kind of situation? This is myfile.h. So you just say if not defined myfile.h underscore myfile. This is just the way of writing. You can write it in any way. If it is not defined, then you simply define it inside this and you come out. So if it is not defined, then you define, otherwise you will not do this. So this will avoid this scenario of multiple clashes or multiple function compiler flashing the error. This is how it is done. So you can just name it any way you want. If and elif directives. We have seen that if else we use, and this elif is used more specialized form of writing if else again and again. So this if directive can be used to test whether an expression evaluates to non-zero value or not. If the result of that expression is a non-zero, then the lines else, elif and if are going to be compiled, otherwise they will be skipped. I'll give you an example. If this is an expression, if test less than equal to 5, if it is less than equal to 5, then these 3 lines will be done, otherwise these 4 lines will be done and you end it. So this is a conditional if you are using. So this is checking for the condition now. Why we use in hash define? Because we want some hardware checking also. Say if adapter is VGA, video graphics adapter, or it is SVGA. So if adapter is VGA, these code you want to run. Otherwise, if it is SVGA, you want to run this. Otherwise, this one. If both are not there, this will be run. So now you have made it very open for all kind of graphics, and this program is going to work for all the graphics you have. Elif. Elif is again a very good form of making this if-else this in a good way. Same program will write with elif. So in this elif, see, if adapter is equal to VGA, then this line, elif adapter is equal to SVGA, this line. So yeah, elif is just making your program more, you can say elegant and simple to understand.